the story goes like this. Before I was a procurement category manager, I was many other things. But at this point, I had walked into my new stakeholder's office, senior vice president at Pfizer, my first meeting as a procurement person, and I said, you need to save money because your vendors are overcharging us and we need to run some RFPs and you need to replace them. She said, and I quote, I don't need to do anything. You need to leave my office. And that was the end of the meeting. She clearly didn't get it, is what I thought, right? Like, difficult person, that's what I was told. I'm working with a difficult person. Well, what am I gonna do? A few things about me before I had this job. I had some other jobs. I started my career out of college with a theater degree, and I was an actress. And you didn't see me in anything, I can tell you that, but I was a working actress for a while. That got old, and I was tired of having a million different jobs, and I found life in the corporate world, and I loved it. Started out life in HR as a corporate trainer. I was a project manager, even a recruiter. So I had some HR background, which is why when I applied for this job in procurement, something I'd never heard of before, they put me in the HR category, which is what my boss reminded me of. When I came to her with my humiliation and said, that meeting was terrible, and I told her what I said, and she said, Kristi, we didn't hire you to be the procurement police. That's not who you are, right? We hired you because of this background. Go back, be yourself. Still the single most impactful feedback I've had in my career. So, fast forward to today. I work for Novo Nordisk Pharmaceuticals. And if you don't know Novo Nordisk by name, you certainly know us by our brands. Ozempic and Wegovy are two of our biggest brands. Ozempic, I believe, is the most recognized brand in the world right now, maybe tied with Coca-Cola. And I joined in May of 2020. We all know what was going on in 2020. And as a company, this is when Ozempic and Wegovy were launching, right? So I joined, started to build the procurement team, and what a ride we had. And what a ride we're having now. I swear I'm aiming it in the same direction. There we go, okay. We're coming upon some tougher times right now, which may be surprising because you still know our brands really well, right? So I have been leading a procurement function through major ups and some pretty significant downs as of late. And I want you to meet this team. I call them the Dream Team. This is the US procurement team, and they are a team of unconventional folks who come to procurement not necessarily with a finance degree. But if you take a look at here, and this is just a sample, it's not even comprehensive. We have everybody, we have lawyers, we have former car salesmen, teachers, artists, even people who worked in TV production, right? And I love this team because with that type of thinking, especially in good times when nobody really wants procurement, they're like, why do we even need you? We've got plenty of money. We don't have to save anything. We knew we still had a job to do. So here's some examples of things that we have done as a team that weren't running RFPs. And these were in good times, right? This team, because they could relate to folks in HR, IT, legal. I'm telling you, we get traction with legal, which is usually a tough spot for indirect procurement because lawyers clearly know how to negotiate. They're trained on that, right? We make a lot of waves in all the right ways and build the trust. And the results speak for themselves, right? We have savings targets. Good times we achieve them, tough times we achieve them. There's a little science behind this we discovered by accident. Is anyone here familiar with HBDI? You are? Have you done HBDI before with your team? You have? Thank you. Did you find it useful? You did. I find it super useful. For most of you, or since you didn't raise your hands, I'll explain what it is. I'm sure you've heard of Myers-Briggs before, and there's other, DISC assessments, another really popular one. Yeah, a lot of people know DISC, right? It's a preference style for thinking, right? And they kind of divide the brain up into 4 sections. And when you take this, it's not really a test, this questionnaire, it helps to figure out where's your preference, like what's your style, especially in times of stress, where do you lean? And I'll show you mine. So when I do, and I've taken this a few times, okay? So what this means is the yellow, creative, strategic, kind of always coming up with the next idea before you land the plane, that's me. The red, emotional intelligence, I kind of like want to have a lot of fun and hug everybody at the same time. That's me. The data side, which is blue, I know it's important. I don't tend to like to do that work. And the operation side, the execution side, that's green, not my strength either. I can do it, but as you can see, I skew pretty small in those areas. When I did the HBDI assessment on the team that I just showed you that picture of, we come up with a whole brain, which is remarkable. It's remarkable for a finance function to be this balanced. And I know why that is. I know it is because we hired people with all different types of backgrounds, which, let's be honest, can feel risky to do sometimes, right? When you're looking at resumes, if it doesn't have years and years of category management experience, you might not think they would be a good fit for your business partners, right? We also focus on values on our team, and this is just a little side note about that. There's a lot of values exercises you can do in this world. Brené Brown, if you're familiar with her, she talks about them a lot. And why we know that's important is because while our values are personal to us, understanding the values of our business partners are also that second key to unlocking that trust with them. So yes, we do procurement training, but we also make sure we are lining up our team with the right personalities and types where they are going to be successful. And that leads me to most challenging customer of all, marketing. Even marketing wants to work with us, right? How many of you watched the Super Bowl this year? Well, that's good. Hopefully, it was a weird game, right? Yeah, it was a weird game. Hopefully you saw our ad. Novo Nordisk did its very first Super Bowl ad this year. And the pillars that are popping up here, every single one of them was sourced by the procurement team. There would have been no Super Bowl ad without this team, right? We launched our pill in January, the Wegovy pill. This was the rocket boosters that we attached to it when we did the Super Bowl ad in February. And to date, it is, by volume, the single most successful pharmaceutical launch in the history of pharmaceuticals. Procurement helped with that. And some other business results, because as much as we want to feel good about our teams, it is about results at the end of the day. 120 million people watched the Super Bowl. You were among them. Great. We had over 3.7 times the average reach to our folks. And this is on just the first day, 37,000 individuals posted about our ad. And another 102,000 reposts and comments, right? That was just on day one. So needless to say, we are extremely proud of the work that the team has done, the trust that has been built, and we even received some really nice recognition from our head of marketing. And this is an email from Ed Sinka, and it talks about the partnership and recognizing there is no way this ad would have aired without your team. Right. I really wanted to show you the ad, by the way. I was not allowed, but you can see it on YouTube. They don't want, if you know anything about pharma, we're extremely careful and make sure it doesn't look like I'm selling you medication at any time, but please do watch it. It's really funny. And I think it hit a lot of right notes. And our team, I'll tell you a little, one of the last savings opportunities we had happened, all the contracts were done, everything was signed. We brought someone on set who observed what was going on in production, saved another $500,000 by just putting a person there that day. Like, we don't give up, and we find unconventional ways to save and bring value every single day. So I'll just leave you with this. This is a picture of me in one of my acting jobs. I was in the chorus of a Gilbert and Sullivan operetta. I was supposed to be a bridesmaid. That was the character there. This is where I come from, right? I love procurement. This person didn't know what procurement was. And I'm hopeful that as we think about unconventional talent and trying to work on the how, that you'll all give that a consideration as you expand your talent pool and think about who would be successful in your space. Thank you.